YouTube, welcome to my vlog of going to visit World Bird Sanctuary for an episode of Conservation Uncharted. We got to the airport so early. I don't remember how early, but I think this was like, flight is for 5:35 in the morning. We barely slept.
What? A little early.
I went with Connor and Kayla. Great, we got there at 3:48 in the morning. That's excellent. And I'm really excited. I've never been to World Bird Sanctuary before this. They do really, really awesome work that you guys are gonna see in this video. We did a super long stream with them. We raised a ton of money and I got to meet a bunch of birds. This was me. I don't think this is good for my phone, but I wanted you guys to see what the inside of a TSA scanner looks like. Enjoy. What do you think? You went to space. I don't know what that is, but it cannot be good for my phone camera. Anyway, you made it out alive. You're fine. All my stuff made it through fine. Easy peasy. Time to go to the gate. So I sat down, I took some notes on World Bird Sanctuary. These are my very detailed notes. This was me taking notes. What do you think? This is Connor showing me a video that he took for our Patreon. Connor and I have a podcast together. It's called World's Wildest Podcast. And Connor was like 40 feet up in an bald eagle's nest, and he took a little video to put on our Patreon. Go check it out if you want. It's a great podcast. Time to get on the plane. I got on the plane. Excellent. And now we're taking off. This was a one-day trip. We flew out at like 4 in the morning. And then got back super late the same night. Very, very productive, very quick travel day. Connor hated the bus. He was scared. It was bumpy. He was fine though. After we got off the plane, we drove out to World Bird Sanctuary. I'm getting very excited. I was told that I might be able to hold a harpy eagle this day, which I tweeted about. Absolutely insane concept. Harpy eagles eat like monkeys and sloths in the rainforests of Brazil. They're massive, massive birds. So the idea of me holding one is pretty ridiculous. Before we went to World Bird Sanctuary, we did pop over to the Endangered Wolf Center, which was cool. We got a little tour. I didn't film there, but they're doing really awesome work close by, World Bird Sanctuary. Then we got to World Bird Sanctuary, started setting up the tech. We walked around the backpack. Connor cameraman for me this day. So we walked around, tested everything, made sure all the mics were working. Here I am. I'm excited. It's a really beautiful campus. Look at how cute and cozy. They got kookaburra. Shout out Tiny Mike, our excellent intro bird. That bird's name is Sterling. She's so cute. They had a bunch of hawks. They had a red-headed vulture. His name is Brahma. Look how nice he is. Stepping very carefully. Ooh, my favorite. Scoop and MUDFLAP. This will become very important at the end of the video. Wait and see why. Pelicans. I love pelicans. Dynasty is an Egyptian vulture. He's incredible. This was a very loud eagle. I don't remember what his name was, but he had a lot to say. Editor, please subtitle him. Then we have Lumpy and Gar, some black vultures, so cute. Again, later on in the stream, we got to see them play with some rubber ducks and stuff, and they're really cool. The point of Conservation Uncharted is for me to travel to other conservation organizations and spotlight them. World Bird Sanctuary is like very, very cool, doing very, very cool work. So it's been on my list for a long time to visit and fundraise for. I'm super lucky to be able to do stuff like this. Thanks in part to you guys. Hello, YouTube. All right. Welcome to another episode of Conservation Uncharted. We're at World Bird Sanctuary today. They do really important rehab work here at World Bird Sanctuary. Last year, they had 751 birds come through here. Their goal is to have 1,000 patients come through the hospital by 2029. The numbers are increasing, not because more birds are getting injured necessarily, but because more people are finding out that they can bring birds here for wildlife rehab. So we're also spreading awareness for that today. Again, check out their website if you want more info. Are you ready to rumble? We have Kelsey, World Bird Sanctuary's Director of Education, here today. Kelsey, hey everybody.
Hi,
Chat. Kelsey.
Nice to meet you all. I'm so excited to have you all here today. We have some very special birds to meet today. As Maya was saying, we are raising money for our foster forest. We are running out of space for these patients, which is a awesome problem to have because that means we're able to help them, but we also need to make sure we're ready for more patients as they come in.
So the first bird that we are going to meet is one of our birds who needs the most mental stimulation, probably of any of the birds living with us at World Bird Sanctuary. You're going to be meeting Aesop. Aesop is an American crow.
Hi, Miss Aesop. There she is. All right, so Aesop knows exactly what we do with all of these recyclables. Oh, this segment is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. That's right. And then she's going to come on over, grab this can, bring that to our recycling bin, and she knows to return to me for a nice piece of food. We'll have her grab this last can, and then I'm gonna have you go ahead and stand up. Perfect. So you can hold that out just like that.
I have one more for you.
There you go.
Wow, that's so
Excellent.
nice.
Oh my gosh. So when you guys were up on Avian Avenue, you probably met a couple of birds that are imprinted. That is why Aesop lives with us as well. She's about 13 years old. She came to our wildlife hospital after she was actually chasing a mailman around, asking for food from him, which is not usual crow behavior. Someone probably thought that she was very cute as a young bird and that she would make a very good pet. As one of the people in charge of the training, feeding, caring for, cleaning up after Aesop, I think she's lovely. I don't want her living in my house. So a lot of the times what ends up happening with birds like this that are so intelligent is when people realize this, unfortunately, the damage is already done. Because she is an imprint, that means that at the first sign of trouble, she would be much more likely to seek out human beings rather than doing what crows are really good at, which is solving problems out in nature. Like I said, they are some of the most intelligent birds that we work with. Many scientists estimate that they have about the same intelligence as a 2 or 3-year-old child. Except they can also fly, and they have a pliers for a face. So, you know. It's my understanding that you guys are huge fans of vultures, correct?
Yes.
So we have a couple of vultures for you guys to meet today. This next bird we're gonna meet is only about 2 years old. Same reason as Aesop. He came to live with us at World Bird because he was basically trying to break into someone's house. Very also unusual behavior for a vulture. Same deal, some well-intentioned person who might have otherwise loved nature, either thought he would make a good pet or thought that they could help him if he was injured. We always recommend people leave that to the professionals, wildlife hospitals, wildlife caretakers, because otherwise you end up with birds like Cash, which we love him to bits, but we would much prefer he be out in nature. Cash is gonna be one of our flying birds. He's gonna make his way to stage. And there you go. So Cash is a black vulture. This is a pretty common native species of vulture. These are some of the other more intelligent birds that we get here. Being scavengers, just like crows and ravens, they have to be really smart in order to figure out where their next meal is gonna be coming from. This head bobbing motion that he's doing is actually one of the signals to us that he is an imprinted bird, just like Aesop. So he's very comfortable being around people. Very nice, which wonderful for education, not necessarily what we want for a bird out in nature. We're gonna meet another vulture after this, so I can probably save some of my vulture spiel and we'll send Cash back to his dressing room. Bye, Cash.
Bye, Cash.
He's the best.
He's so cute.
There we go. Exactly what that other common raptor might look like. This is Kinzie. And Kinzie is a turkey vulture. So you can see the underside of his wings. He's kind of got that beautiful white. Now this isn't just him doing like a big come at me bro or anything like that. This is actually how these birds absorb sunlight. You'll often see birds like vultures sunning, and that's an important part of how they keep themselves healthy. They are scavengers, and that's a really important job for them to do out in nature, but that can be a little bit on the yucky side, right? They might be eating things that are kind of goopy, kind of yucky, and in that way, their feathers might also be coated in some goopy and yucky stuff. So by kind of letting the sun sanitize their wings, by sticking those wings out nice and far, it helps keep them healthy. They've also got that kind of weird little bald looking head, very nice that Kinzie is showing off. He's got that kind of red featherless head. That is one of the ways that they kind of keep themselves clean. So, you know, if you ever want to play vulture at home, just make yourself a big plate of spaghetti and then try and eat it with your hands behind your back. Okay? That's kind of what it's like to be one of these birds. And then try and clean your face after.
We should try that.
Yeah, you can do that on stream actually. I've just given you a really good idea.
Thank you.
They're never coming back, thank you.
You can do a mukbang with a vulture. It'd be really good. They tend to be associated with dead things, and in that way, these birds get a bit of a reputation, but being scavengers makes them one of the most important parts of our ecosystem. In fact, in places where vultures aren't doing so well, there are over 20 different species of vultures found across the globe. Over half of them are considered endangered. In places where their populations are declining, you're actually starting to see some very real and a little bit frightening human consequences too. Being such great scavengers, they help remove things that might make us sick from the ecosystem. So they can remove things like rabies or distemper. Their stomach acid is even strong enough to get rid of botulinum toxin. For example, India over the past
last 20 years has estimatedly lost about 99% of their wild vulture populations. And the scavengers that have taken over are often things like scavenger dogs, feral dogs, and they don't do as good of a job of cleaning up. So you do start to see more things like rabies actually in your like human ecosystems, which is kind of frightening. So working with vultures is a lot of our favorite parts of what we do here because they have such big personalities. They are really intelligent, but also it's some of the most important conservation work that we do here. Now you might notice that Kinzie, he kind of looks like he's shrugging a little bit. That is why Kinzie lives with us at World Bird. Like many of the other birds, he has an injury, though his is one that you can actually see on his body. The most common cause of injury for birds that end up in our wildlife hospital is actually vehicle collisions, and that is very common amongst birds like vultures as they are scavenging in many cases on the side of the road. Now, lucky for us, when an injury or a problem is human caused, that means there's often a human solution. One of the easiest ways to help birds avoid being struck by vehicles is by simply keeping your trash inside your car until you get where it's supposed to go. Even something like an apple core or banana peel thrown out the window of a car, though those things are biodegradable, when they sit by the side of the road, they attract things that want to eat our leftovers to the side of the road. Things like, you know, rats and mice and shrews and voles. They might get hit by cars too and attract things like vultures, or they might attract things like hawks and owls and eagles and all kinds of other things that want to eat the things that scurry around on the ground. So when we do something simple, like, you know, make sure our trash ends up where it's supposed to go, we can actually make a really huge impact on birds just like Kinzie, right in our own backyards. All right, our next animal guest, her name is Banshee. There you go. And Banshee is something of a specialty here at World Bird Sanctuary. She is a barn owl. So you met Shakespeare the barred owl earlier. Sometimes people get them confused. Barred owls have that really distinct who cooks for you all call. It sounds a little bit like I'm not going to make the sound that Banshee makes with my face.
That was so good.
Because I don't think I can make that sound with my mouth. They make kind of a shrieking, screaming noise that we think is what inspired the myth of the Banshee, of the screaming ghost. Now, Banshee is another one of our kind of younger birds. She is only about 5 years old, so another one of our little rookies. She lives with us because her species was actually injured. Barn owls are one of the most common raptors found across the globe. They're found on every continent on Earth except for Antarctica. They are actually, or were actually for many years, considered endangered in the state of Missouri. And once again, like the other birds we've met, when they run into trouble, it is usually because of human beings. In this case, the use of rodent poison. When you're looking at a bird like Banshee, and she's looking back at you, as you can see, you're looking at Mother Nature's most perfect mousetrap. A single barn owl might be able to hunt 2 or 3 mice in a single night. Okay, I studied animals in school and not math. I did the algebra ahead of time. That is close to 1,000 mice in a single year for just one bird. Not to mention the fact that they're often hunting for their entire family as well, you know, which for me, okay, I have 4 members of my family, but for a bird like Banshee, might be closer to, in some cases, even 18 family members at a time. So it's a lot of hungry mouths to feed. Now, it only takes one poison mouse to seriously harm or kill a barn owl. In many cases, when they end up in our wildlife hospital, there's not a lot that we can do for them. So we always encourage people to potentially use alternatives if they're able. Something like a snap trap or what's called a have-a-heart trap. That's like a little box that a mouse runs into and then a door closes behind it and you can like release it in your neighbor's yard. If they forgot to bring back your snowplow or something. Your lawnmower. Don't tell them I told you to do that. Tell them Maya told you to do it. By switching to those alternatives, we can make a really big difference for birds like barn owls. Now, at World Bird, we've actually bred and released over 1,100 of these birds into the wild of Missouri. It's actually closer to 1,200 now. They're no longer considered endangered in our state, partly due to our efforts. There's now active breeding populations in every county in the state, which I think is pretty incredible. So like we've put in our work, now it's your guys' turn to help us out. They're still considered threatened across much of the Midwest, so there's still plenty of work to be done.
Is that a Yeti?
Yeah, by all means.
That is a harpy eagle that Maya is holding.
Nice.
So chat, this is a small harpy eagle. I want you to know that. So he is a small male. The females are much bigger. And he's still small for a male too. They like his sounds. Yeah, he sounds like a duck.
He sounds like a duck.
Yeah.
Like a really big, weird gray duck.
How heavy is he? Do you guys know?
Yeah, Alejandro generally hovers around 11 or 12 pounds or so, though in some cases up to 14. It kind of depends on the time of year. So now, a difference that you're probably noticing if you've held other raptors before, he feels a lot heavier and more dense, partly because a lot of his weight is concentrated right in those big feet. Mm-hmm. Now that back talon of his is about the same size as a grizzly bear's claw. So
Pretty robust. Though, as Kelsey was saying, yeah, he's on the smaller side for a harpy eagle. Now, he came to live with us as part of what's called an SSP. Did you guys talk about SSPs? Oh, amazing. An SSP is a species survival plan. Though a lot of the work we do with animals involves, breeding them and then trying to reintroduce them to their native habitats. Before we can do that, we have to make sure that their native habitat is ready for them to be reintroduced to. So what a species survival plan does is it is generally a lot of organizations and zoos and places like that working together so that we can make sure that we have strong population genetics in human care. That way, while we're working on that other stuff, we can continue breeding these birds, even if they're not quite ready to head back to their habitat yet. Thank you, Alejandro. Wowzers.
Everyone poops.
That was impressive. That was a good one, yeah.
That grip is like, I know that's nothing, but that felt crazy.
For sure, 100%. When we talk about the range that raptors can squeeze with their feet, it's anywhere from like 200 to 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. This is probably one of those birds on the higher end, though generally they're only using those really strong feet when they're grabbing onto their food. These birds get a bit of a reputation in their native habitats in like Central South America. People are often worried that they are going to carry away their dog, their cat, their toddler. In many cases, these birds can only carry away about 1/3 of their body weight at a time, but still they've got some really strong grip and have been known to hunt things as large as small monkeys or even sloths.
Yeah.
So
We basically are getting so many birds through the hospital that we need to expand and have more space for them. So this past year, we had 751 birds come through our rehab hospital. We are on track to have 1,000 birds a year by 2029. So we need space to put those birds. And I know that sounds like crazy big numbers, but basically that means people know where to take birds now when they're injured because we're able to help them get back in the wild. So we're building some rehab facilities for them. We thank you guys so much for all of your generosity and being here with us today.
Alejandro says thank you too. See, that's how he says
Yeah,
that.
Alejandro says
Right.
thank you.
It sounds like quack, but it actually means thank you guys so much. Oh my
Sound
gosh.
like a quack.
They're asking again how much he weighs. Wow.
$15,099 today, which is a new record for an episode of Conservation Uncharted. Thank you guys so much. That is incredible. Make sure you check out World Bird Sanctuary's website and socials. They have Instagram, they have Facebook, they have Twitter. Am I missing anything? Thank you so much. Oh, good call at World Bird Sanctuary. Thank you guys so much for having me. I am so grateful. This has been an insane, incredible experience. I learned so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Huge success. I have a surprise, and his name is MUDFLAP. World Bird Sanctuary gave me this plushie as a thank you for fundraising for them, and so he traveled back to Texas with me. He's never been on a plane before, so he was a little bit nervous. Here he is sitting in the airport.
This is a customer page for Atlanta Pass.
Connor.
Cancel.
Cancel.
And pardon me,
Can you guys believe that? Put him in jail.
for your departure to Atlanta. Like 30
That's crazy. Kayla was mad. All right, time to go back home. Hooray, MUDFLAP. Time to go on an airplane. This is very important. Plane safety. Make sure you buckle up your children just in case of turbulence. Tighten the seatbelt strap. Oh yeah, he's comfy. He's ready to go. He's good to go. This is... Yep. Here's MUDFLAP listening to the flight attendant teach us about emergency protocol, except he wasn't listening. He was just staring at me.
Unlike the event that Southwest Airlines serves as Southwest Cruise Lines, there's a light vest located underneath your seat.
That's it, guys. Quick trip, insane stream. Definitely my most successful fundraising for Conservation Uncharted yet. One of the coolest programs I've ever seen, let alone had on stream. I got to meet such a huge variety of birds. I'm so grateful for World Bird Sanctuary for having me out there. So thank you. If you guys are watching this, thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Again, I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff and fundraise for these organizations without your guys' support. So thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing, right? You've done that? Thank you. I will see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.